After the bloodbath of Episode 6, the found family is officially broken. But just when you thought the tension couldn't get any higher, Murderbot opens Episode 7, Complementary Species, not with the external threat, but by revealing the rot that was already inside the team. We get a stunning confession that reframes everything we know about Gurathin's paranoia. Back in the present, the team is forced to evacuate, grappling with a protector they no longer trust, only to be trapped by giant mating insects and ambushed by a new, deadlier sec unit. The episode asks a brutal question. When the violence is already happening, what good is talking? Quick warning, full spoilers ahead for Murderbot Episode 7. Let's break down this incredibly tense and emotionally honest episode. The episode begins with a flashback to 1 month earlier, the night before the mission. The team is playing a sweet and bitter memory game. It's here, under intense group pressure, that Gurathin confesses his darkest secret. He was a corporate spy, manipulated through addiction, and his original target was Mensah. He was on the brink of suicide when Mensah offered him a place in the Alliance, a new life. This isn't just backstory, it's a direct parallel to Murderbot, a being trapped by a system seeking a way out. This reveal makes his fear of Murderbot not just paranoia, but a projection of his own self-hatred. We jump to the present, and the habitat is a disaster scene. Murderbot, all business, tries to hustle the traumatized team out the door. Its orders are met with fear. In a brilliant moment of self-awareness, it realizes its barked commands aren't working. It drops its face shield and simply says, "Please." It works. They escape in the hopper, but the trust is gone. They whisper about leaving it behind, and Murderbot, hearing every word, contemplates abandoning them and watching TV until its battery dies. This internal conflict, duty versus a desire for escape, is the heart of the episode. Eventually, Mensah confronts the issue head-on, telling Murderbot she sees it as someone who wants to help. Their heart-to-heart is interrupted when 2 giant insects, the same kind that attacked Murderbot, begin violently mating on top of the hopper. While Murderbot and Gurathin see it a threat to be neutralized, the scientists, led by Arata, see nature. They decide to wait it out, a choice that proves critical. Once the creatures leave behind a sack of eggs, a new threat drops from the sky. A top-of-the-line, hostile sec unit that jams Murderbot's threat sensors and immediately attacks. The team, despite their fear, instinctively tries to help their Murderbot, throwing rocks and screaming. Ineffective, but as Murderbot notes, "I kind of appreciated it." The fight ends unexpectedly. The enemy sec unit shoots the egg sac, and one of the giant insect parents returns, furiously decapitating the attacker before disappearing underground with its young. Their relief is short-lived. Gurathin, who has been looking worse and worse, collapses from a raging fever from his untreated wound. The team makes a unanimous decision. They have to go back to the habitat's medbay, even though, as Murderbot warns them, it's almost certainly a trap. The episode ends with Murderbot facing a choice: leave them to their fate or follow them back into the jaws of the enemy. The arrival of the new sec unit confirms the conspiracy is escalating. This wasn't just a random piece of hardware. It was a high-end model specifically designed to ambush them, capable of blocking Murderbot's own threat detection. This tells us 2 things. First, Lee BB's employers, likely GrayCris, have serious resources. They aren't just sending scavenged tech, they're deploying advanced military-grade assets. Second, their goal is annihilation, not just data retrieval. This new unit wasn't trying to steal anything, it was here to eliminate witnesses. The biggest question raised is about the planet itself. The giant insect's intervention wasn't random. It implies a complex ecosystem where the native life is incredibly dangerous and will defend itself. Is this what GrayCris is really after? Are they trying to weaponize the local fauna, or are they trying to cover up its existence? This episode is a masterclass in character psychology, focusing on the parallels between Gurathin and Murderbot. Gurathin's confession reveals his distrust of Murderbot is really a reflection of his own past. He was coerced, his will compromised by a system that used him as a tool. He sees Murderbot and doesn't just see a machine, he sees his own shame. His feverish, jealous accusations toward the end, misgendering Murderbot and seeing it as a rival from Mensah's affection, show a man whose logic has completely broken down, leaving only raw emotional pain. Murderbot, meanwhile, is grappling with an identity crisis. It's a whole confused entity. It considers suicide by TV show, a grim fantasy of simply letting its battery run out and becoming another relic in the forest. But it doesn't. Why? Because of Mensah. Her unwavering belief that it wants to help pulls it back from the brink. Its decision to stay isn't about protocol, it's about a fragile, growing loyalty to the one person who sees it as more than a machine or a monster. It hates that it cares, but it can't stop.
The episode's ending isn't a cliffhanger about an external threat, but an internal one, about choice. Gurathin has collapsed, and the team's core philosophy, consensus and care, overrides all tactical logic. They choose to risk everything to save one of their own, even if it means returning to a habitat that is almost certainly being watched by the enemy. This puts the final decision squarely on Murderbot. The humans have made their irrational, compassionate choice. Now Murderbot must make its own. It's no longer just protecting clients. It's deciding whether it is truly part of this flawed, self-destructive family. Its decision to go with them, which we can infer is what will happen, is monumental. It's an act of loyalty that goes against its own survival programming. It's choosing to walk back into a trap, not because of a contract, but because these specific, idiotic, caring humans are its humans. The episode ends by reminding us that you can't get past the violence while the violence is still happening, and Murderbot is choosing to walk right back into it. So, what happens in episode 8? First, the habitat will absolutely be compromised. I predict GrayCris isn't just watching, they're inside, waiting. The mission to save Gurathin will become a desperate fight for survival inside a compromised base. Second, this is where Mensah's leadership will be forged in fire. The time of talking is over. She will have to rely on Murderbot's combat expertise, giving it commands that will likely horrify her team, but are necessary to survive. This will be the true test of their bond. Finally, Gurathin's fate is a major question. If he survives, how will this experience change him? Having been saved by the very being he feared, will he finally overcome his self-hatred and accept Murderbot? Or will the trauma only deepen the divide? His recovery or lack thereof will be a major indicator of whether this found family can ever truly heal. Complementary Species was a tense, emotionally raw hour of television. It slowed down to explore the deep psychological fractures in the team, before reminding us that the external threat is relentless and evolving. It brilliantly used its sci-fi setting to explore very human themes of trauma, trust, and self-hatred. But what did you think? Was the team's decision to go back for Gurathin brave or foolish? And what do you think is waiting for them at the habitat? Drop your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.